Right then, there's some talk that Ralf Rangnick is going to be given £100 million to spend as Manchester United manager, which suggests that it's going to happen in January. Despite the fact that Rangnick's come out and said that it probably won't be doing much business in January, I'm not sure I believe them. You can never take a press conference at face value. You don't want to let opposition know that you're desperate. You don't want to, put things out there like, oh yeah, we're desperately in need of A, and then the prices go up for all of those, don't they? So you almost want to feign a bit of disinterest. No, I'm just looking. See anything I like maybe, but I'm just looking. Just keep it chill. Now, £100 million spent correctly can go the right way. £100 million if you spend 80 million of it on a centre half, maybe not. So £100 million with Ralf Rangnick's experience of finding bargains and uncovered gems. With that in mind, let's have a look at what he could potentially do to retool Manchester United with £100 million. Manchester United need a real potential world-class midfielder. And by potential world-class, I don't mean 16 years old, watch him grow in 7 years' time. I mean someone that within a year or 18 months could be world-class. It looks like with the Tony Marshall departure or inevitable Tony Marshall departure, the inevitable Cavani departure, you're probably going to need to strengthen in the forward area, especially with Marcus Rashford's form this season. I think we could all look at maybe the defensive areas and see improvements and strengthen areas in there as well. So I'm going to look at 5 players that you could potentially get for around about 100 million with some estimated values associated with them. Now, the first name on the list and perhaps the most dire need of a reinforcement is central midfield area, a defensive midfielder. And the first name on that list is Boubacar Kamara. Now, United are supposedly in advanced talks to sign Boubacar Kamara from Marseille, and that's according to the Sunday Express this weekend. Also in the Daily Star, they mentioned that United are reportedly considering a January move for Kamara. He's been an ever-present figure in Sampoli's side this season. He's made 14 appearances in the league. He's only scored 1 goal, but that's not what he's about. His main attribute is the fact he's all-action, physical, pacey, killer in central midfield. It'd be a considerable upgrade in the engine room for Manchester United in an area that's just completely paper-thin in terms of quality and in terms of depth. United could even consider putting in an early transfer bid to fend off the interest of Milan, who view him as a potential Kessie replacement. Kamara's Marseille contract expires in the summer of 2022, which means that he's free to speak with foreign clubs in January. And if Manchester United's need is as desperate as we all hope it is, or think it is, United could pull the plug and get the deal done right now. That obviously depends on the ambition from the owners, and I don't hold my breath for anything, but you don't know what the Cristiano Ronaldo factor does to heighten wanting to bring immediate success. You don't know what sort of pull he's got and how often he's going to be prepared to sit around and wait for any kind of rebuilding process. So there might be a desire to go, do you know what? If we got a 6 in now, we might do something in the Champions League. There's a price around £22.5 million being talked up for him. And I think if you got him in that kind of range, I think you might even get him a tiny bit cheaper with the fact they're going to get nothing for him 6 months down the line. A deal could be made here. And for me, he is the number 1 priority on that list for Manchester United. He fits the bill exactly with what we want. Second on the list, now this is Ralf Rangnick's 101 for me. This is what he is all about. He is all about uncovering gems, people who are absolutely smashing it, that no one else has really noticed about, bringing them to the top table and then previously flipping them for massive amounts. But United don't need to flip these players. We just need these players. So let's get these players in and have them rather than flip them. Saidou Sow is the name, and I think he is probably one of the most soon-to-be sought-after names in world football. He's the modern-day hybrid centre-back. He's got a ton of different solutions that he can offer when he's on the pitch, snuffing out opponents by combining speed, muscle, intelligent reading of the game. He's got skill. He's got a potent mix to be able to frustrate opposition forwards. he's comfortable with and without the ball. He's about 6'1", which means that he's able to compete physically if he needs to. He's got the physique to go toe-to-toe with even the hardest of centre forwards. And he only turned 19 in July. He's taken an absolute monster step up. He's established himself as a first choice for Puel, and he already holds this role for his country. He currently ranks alongside the absolute creme de la creme of centre-halves in Europe when it comes for defensive metrics this season. And we know that this is the sort of stuff that Ralf Rangnick likes to do when he's researching. He puts a lot into data science when it comes to recruitment. Sow's going to be up there on a list that he's looking at. I guarantee it. And that's across all the top 6 European leagues. He is raw, but the potential with him is absolutely ridiculous. And while the centre-back situation's never really settled at United, and we got inconsistency in form, you've got the circus that surrounds Maguire, this is the really type of player that Rangnick kinds to thrive on signing. The current market value of Saidou Sow is 3 million. I don't think I'd ever see the day United sign a player for 3 million. That's his current market value. United to go and get him in there for 3 million. I still got plenty of my 100 million left to sign. So we've brought in a centre-half that could compete and potentially even start for Manchester United. It's cost us 3 million quid. Next on the list is a name that you've probably seen lots of over the last few weeks since Ralf Rangnick's been appointed, really, and that's Amadou, Haidara. He is said to be the club's main target, central midfielder position since Rangnick arrived, and with him being a huge admirer of the midfielder, it's kind of easy to make that connection. I think he'd be able to provide cover and probably even start as a defensive midfielder, as long as with a variety of other different roles that he's also got going forward. He's not just a 6, he could certainly offer you a lot as an 8. He's a box-to-box defensive midfielder. You can sit him in a pivot. He's very much a jack of all trades in midfield, very good at everything that he does. There is a danger with him being so flexible that he ends up becoming a little bit too flexible and never really nails down that single position that becomes his. But Haidara's talent is absolutely undeniable. He'd be a comfortable upgrade on our midfield. And supposedly 30 million is the fee, which feels like gone are the days United sign players for 30 million, but that's the rumoured money that we're in for with him. Another name that I could see teaming up with Rangnick again, following their time together at Leipzig, is Timo Werner. Now, Timo Werner has not set the Premier League alight, but he did set Bundesliga alight. And he did make Chelsea spend 47.5 million on him not too long ago. He's been a massive failure at Chelsea. I don't think anyone would deny that. And I think what that does is it makes him disposable for the right price. It could be argued that a new managerial appointment, a new style being implemented at United, Werner's game may translate better to United. And because he already knows Ralf Rangnick's game and style of play, he could fare better than he has in the tenure that he's had so far at Chelsea. With the arrival of Lukaku, more and more limited opportunities, problems in terms of confidence, settling in, role within a team. I don't think it's as far-fetched as people would suggest that Timo Werner could switch over to Manchester United. Chelsea, much like Real Madrid at times, if they've not having a player, they will let him go for absolute peanuts. And I think if you could tempt them with 30 million for him, Timo Werner's not done. Timo Werner's still a hell of a footballer. And I think he could be rejuvenated. And a move could be exactly what he needs. He's not hit the ground running at all at Chelsea. And some of his performances have been laughably bad. I just think maybe that change suits him. Maybe coming in with a less pressure than you would have coming in the way he came in at Chelsea. There could be a real bargain to be had there. Prior relationship, obviously, he knows exactly what Rangnick's about. Rangnick knows exactly what he's about. I think you could probably get a massive bargain there if you tried Chelsea's arm. And finally then, bit of an interesting one this, and it's a well-trodden path, Leeds to Manchester United. Raphinha. Now, he has been the shining light with Leeds this season. He's got 8 Premier League goals, which has probably been a massive disappointing season for Leeds, and they're looking like they're heading for relegation, or at least the relegation fight. Interest from the player from United predates the arrival of Jadon Sancho, and the arrival of Jadon Sancho possibly dampens the interest in him at the moment. But supposedly the club have been long admirers of the Brazilian winger, and if Leeds head for a drop, it seems pretty nailed. He's going to be the one of the ones at least that doesn't go down with the ship. I think he's going to be in the Premier League. It also means he's probably available at a cut down price. He's blessed with pace, he's blessed with flair, he's blessed with trickery. There's a little bit of a Mahrez kind of feel about the way he plays. And it's not like our wingers are bulletproof. It isn't like they don't miss games occasionally. He could add some serious depth. When you look at Manchester City, and you look at the fact they've built 2-11s, and Chelsea have built 2-11s as well. Players like Raphinha coming in, putting pressure on the likes of Sancho, putting pressure on the likes of Rashford, even coupled with Timo Werner. When you think Ronaldo's gone in 18 months at most, you're going to have to completely retool that front line. Greenwood's going to end up as a number 9. He ain't going to get in the way of Raphinha or vice versa, and neither Sancho. Them two will compete for the same sort of place. You've got Marcus on the left. If Tony goes, you're looking at Amadou and Alanga, and I think Raphinha's a step above those. The total for all that, supposedly Raphinha's available for 28 million. You might get that if they go down. It might be a bit more than that. But that list currently comes to £113 million. Those 5 players make Manchester United a different prospect, a completely different side. And it's been so long since United we spent 130 million on Wan-Bissaka and Maguire. United need to start being smarter with our money. There's some great bargains out there. I'd potentially put what we did with Cavani was a good bargain. And potentially, depends on how often he ends up actually playing for us, but Varane could have been a bargain. There's still bargains out there. There's 5 that I reckon anyway. Let me know in the comments. Agree? Disagree? Off my head with any of those. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.